I ultimately made my narcissistic ex pay a stunning price for the hell he put me through. And it all started when I logged into his email and typed a single sentence. For over a decade, I kept this story secret. But it's time to air it out. It began in my early 20s when I reconnected with a guy from high school through online dating. Let's call him Leo. At first glance, Leo seemed like everything I wanted. He was cute. Projected the image of a sweet and kind romantic. And our first date was at a nice restaurant. After just a couple of dates, things got serious. And that's when the 6 months of relationship hell truly began. Leo was a narcissistic monster. But I was too blind and desperate at the time to see it. From the very start, he was a compulsive liar. This wasn't just about little white lies. He lied about everything under the sun, shamelessly claiming accomplishments that were never his. This revealed Leo's greatest fatal flaw, his pathological need to construct a false reality. A trait that would ultimately cause his entire world to collapse. He would constantly, relentlessly accuse me of cheating with my platonic male friends. I was a tomboy. And these guys were like brothers to me. But Leo's paranoia twisted every interaction. He forbade me from being friends with any men and systematically manipulated everything my friends and family said to make me distrust them, pushing me further into isolation. His goal was complete and total obedience. And I was expected to comply whether I wanted to or not. Looking back, it's so clear what was happening. As someone later pointed out, that wasn't a relationship. It was a prison house. And I was its only inmate. This control extended to my finances. Leo had no car and no shame. I was forced to buy him everything: groceries, cigarettes, CDs, and even over-the-counter medications he used to get high. He racked up a $4,000 bill on my credit card. I became his personal chauffeur, driving him to court dates, to drug deals, and picking him up from jail. I even drove him to a psychological evaluation where he was diagnosed with paranoid personality disorder. But he refused all medication and treatment because he was convinced I was cheating. He demanded the only way to win back his trust was to give him unfettered access to my phone history, texts, emails, and all my social media accounts. He wanted to keep constant tabs on me. Yet even with this total invasion of privacy, he never stopped accusing me of lying. Our physical relationship was even worse. I insisted Leo use condoms. But one night, he deliberately slipped it off and finished inside me. I was terrified of STDs and started freaking out. But he just placated me, saying he was clean and that I should just stop being crazy and paranoid. The next time, when I asked him to use a condom again, he refused, casually stating he didn't need to since we hadn't used one last time. When I told him it would still make me feel comfortable, his demeanor shifted. He beat me, shouting that it would be pointless. And then he had his way with me. From that moment on, he demanded unprotected sex, ignoring my discomfort and even letting his roommates watch against my will. One morning, when I came by to take him to another court date, I found the door open and saw him in bed with his roommate. After 6 agonizing months, something in me finally snapped. I started to stand up for myself and demand some semblance of equality. One night, I confronted Leo. I told him that if he had access to all of my private accounts, then I should be allowed access to his. It was only fair. He actually thought about it for a while before slowly, reluctantly agreeing. He promised he'd give me the passwords in the morning. He stalled for 3 days. But he finally gave them to me. He thought he was clever. When I logged into his email, I saw that months of messages had been deleted. But he wasn't thorough enough. I found emails that proved he was cheating on me with several different women, starting within the first couple of months of our relationship. He couldn't even remember our anniversary date. I also discovered one of these women had been the one who vandalized my car. That was it. I used the emails as undeniable grounds to end our relationship for good and got the hell out of there. The nightmare didn't end with the breakup. I soon found out about yet another woman he was cheating on me with. A woman a decade older than him with children. Let's call her Sharon. I took the time to write Sharon a detailed warning email, listing the red flags and behaviors to watch out for. She blew me off, telling me they were deeply in love. That he would never do that. And that I was just jealous. Then came the worst discovery. I found out from his friends that he had an STI and had known about it for 3 years before we even met. Never once seeking treatment. I immediately got tested and thankfully, after a course of antibiotics, I was clean. Now, for the revenge. About a week after the breakup, Leo started bragging on Facebook about a fantastic new job offer he'd accepted. It paid in the high 5 digits. An incredible salary for someone in their early 20s. And then I remembered, I still had his email login. This was the moment. I went to a random computer, logged into his account, and pulled up a new message. My hands were shaking, but my mind was crystal clear. I composed a simple, professional email to his new boss. In it, I explained that Leo had found a better position elsewhere and, while grateful for the opportunity, he would have to respectfully decline the offer. The boss replied quickly, thanking him for the notice. I deleted my sent email and the boss's reply, leaving no trace. I can only imagine the scene. Leo, swaggering into his new office on his first day, full of arrogance and entitlement, only to be met with confused looks. I picture the manager telling him, "Sorry. We received your email declining the position. We've already hired someone else." The look on his face must have been priceless. He had been so sure of himself, only to find the future he'd bragged about had vanished because of a ghost in his own machine. After that humiliation, he tried to embezzle thousands of dollars from my parents by threatening lawsuits. It failed miserably. I was over 18 and not their legal responsibility. Plus, their lawyers easily uncovered his long criminal history. Now, I know a criminal record doesn't just make a civil case disappear. As an actual attorney later clarified, those convictions would have been brought into evidence, completely destroying his credibility with any jury and making his case impossible to win. For more than a decade since, Leo has stalked me. Every so often, he tries to get in touch through texts, emails, or phone calls. In a bizarre move, a few days after I got married, he emailed me to announce that he had married Sharon on the very same day. But here's the twist: shortly after that email, Sharon herself contacted me. She wanted to know more about the signs I had warned her about. She'd found out he was doing drugs around her child and was beating her, too. I told her to get an STD test immediately and to leave him. The pieces of his past kept falling into place. I learned that back in high school, he tried to choke a girlfriend to death after she caught him cheating. She only escaped by savagely biting a hole in his arm until he let go. The last time I saw him in person was the week before my dog died of cancer. I was already an emotional wreck. And the encounter freaked me out so badly that I confided in my friends. Some of them did a little digging. And this is where his story ends. Leo is currently miserable. Living with his grandmother. His wife divorced him. He has no job. No car. And no friends who trust him. He is utterly and completely alone. Ultimately, this story is a harsh reminder that the most charming faces can hide the darkest intentions. And that reclaiming your life from an abuser is the most profound victory you can achieve. He got exactly what he deserved. What's the most important red flag you believe someone should never ignore at the start of a relationship?